Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this afternoon's press conference ahead of our game against Atlanta United at home. We have head coach Nick Cushing. If you'd like to ask a question, please raise your hand. We'll get started in the room first. Scott?
Hey, Coach, thanks as always for the time. Talk to me a little bit about Multi-Almus's progress, how things are going there, and do you see any minutes for him in the near future? Thanks.
Um, it's difficult for Malta, I understand, and people see he plays the majority of 2021 in the championship year, and then he didn't play in the playoff run, and then he plays last year, and then we changed the system. Kevin O'Toole goes in and kept his place, and then coming back this year, we signed a right back and a left back, and it's the nature of sport. He is frustrated, of course, that he's out the team. He's training incredibly well. He's pushing hard. I think Kevin O'Toole is a really good example that for 9 months of the season, he trained. He didn't really get a look in, but he stayed humble and he stayed motivated. And then, in football, things change quickly. And I've said this to Malta. He knows his position is, the nature of the game is we can only play 11. But he has to keep training hard, and he's doing that. And, I have so much respect for that guy because it's a difficult place to be when you're not playing. But the only thing for those guys, Andres, Justin, Malta, they have to force their way into the team. And Gabe Siegel is a good example of that. Came in pre-season, probably thought he was going to be an MLS 2 player, forced his way into the team, and, let's see where he goes.
John?
Yeah, I actually was going to piggyback off that, and with Gabe Siegel, I know you spoke highly of his debut last weekend, and in terms of going into this weekend, is that something we can expect to see again? And what does he offer at the number 9 differently than what you get with Tyler?
He could, I have no hesitation in putting Gabe in. He's available. He's training hard. I mean, I think there's been a lot about the Telles Magno 9 and winger. And, I've said before, Telles played the whole back end of last year when Tati left as a 9 and done a really good job. And, Telles started well this year. Gabe forced his way into the team. He trained so hard. He has improved immensely. He is a guy that works incredibly hard out of possession. And the nature of our team is we're going to have to freshen it up. We're going to have to continue to move some guys. Gabriel Pereira came out the team. Gabe went in, which freed Tales up to go off the side. If we want to be a team that consistently wins, we have to have competition for places. And, he's a good example, Gabe, of forcing his way into the team. But, the more he plays, if we keep selecting him, the expectation will start to rise. He ran around really well. He gave us real structure defensively. He has to start to score goals. As a number 9, you have to contribute goals. He had one big chance. If he plays again and comes into chances, we'll expect him to start adding goals. And if he does that, he stays in the team.
Roberto?
Talk about Atlanta a little bit. They're doing really well this season. They won 4, lost 1, tied 1. They're number 2 in scoring with 13 goals. What have you seen from them this year? And obviously, Thiago Almada is having a fantastic season. So can you talk about what sort of difficulties they might cause you on Saturday?
Yeah, I have so much respect for them because I think since I've been here, they've always been a team that's tried to play football. They play the right way. They try and get the ball down and they try and dominate the game with possession, whether at home or away. So we know they will cause problems in trying to control the game. They have probably more of a spirit this year is what I see. They work hard out of possession. They share the credit around. Of course, Thiago Almada is playing well and scoring free kicks and contributing and playing really well. But Araujo is playing well. The new number 9 is scoring. So, when you have a team that has threats all over the front line, it causes us problems. We know if we allow them space, they've got 2 or 3, 4 guys that, can punish us. For us, it's about playing our game and being a team that tries to control the game and doesn't allow the opposition to control the game. But, if we give those guys space, they've shown how many goals they can score. And if you give them opportunities, they can share the goals around the team. So difficult team, but, if we're going to, I said last week against New England, if we're going to be a team that improves from last year and challenges for trophies, these are the games that we have to go into and we have to win.
How do you go about limiting free kicks in an dangerous area for your team as far as a mentality? Because obviously you're on the field, things happen, and it could happen. Is there anything that you can try to do to help avoid them?
Yeah, I think ultimately you have to keep them from around our goal, but against good teams, that's difficult. We have to make sure that we defend properly and that we don't get lazy and foul. And, we've been guilty of that this season. I've given away too many fouls, maybe in the Nashville game, the Chicago game. We gave away too much set play in and around our goal. We gave away a really, really dangerous free kick against Chicago in the last minute. And we got away with that. We do this consistently in MLS with guys like Almada, Zelarayan. These guys we've seen before that they can punish us. So we have to be aware of it, and we have to make sure that the team is fresh enough to think straight and not get lazy, but also that we don't give these chances away, because if we want to win football games, we have to minimize that.
On to the Zoom, Juan Carlos.
Hi, Coach. Thank you for the time. Just wanted to ask, what's the situation like with injuries? I know Elenish picked up an injury, and how's Tavon Gray has evolved with that injury as well?
No, Mitra is fine. It was more fatigue. It was a small knock, but it was more fatigue. He played a lot of football in the international window, and we expected him to get through 60 minutes. He showed an incredible mentality and a desire to play for the team by going in and playing the way he did. But he's fine. He's trained all week. He's fresh now. He's recovered. So we're really happy that he's available. Tavon has had some small knocks, really. It's not a serious injury, but it's one that we don't want to push hard on, in the sense of losing him for a longer period of time, losing him later in the season because we don't solve this small problem. He trained today. He's trained fully, but the decision will be whether we give him another week or whether we roll him again. And it's completely 50-50. Like I say, he trained fully today and he trained really well. So that's a real positive.
Can I go to John in the room?
Hey, haven't necessarily gotten the results we wanted on the road this season, but at home, 2 wins from 2, going into a 3-game stand at home now. How crucial are these games, for the season and getting up on the right foot?
Yeah, I think when you get back-to-back games, it gives you an opportunity to build momentum. We feel like we have some momentum from the New England game because the performance was good. We controlled the game. We want to create more. And we know that is a process of, improving in that area. The nature of away games are so difficult in this league. We have to pick up points on the road if we want to finish in a good position. But our home games, we've always took really serious and had a real focus on making sure that we win our home games, not only because of points, but because we're playing in front of our own fans. We have that real mentality at home, and it has to continue. So getting 3 back-to-back home games gives us a huge opportunity. But we know against Atlanta and teams like this that they don't just give you wins. You have to really earn them. And performances like the Miami game and like the DC game, although different games, we have to have the ability to control and create our chances whilst also not allowing those teams to be the teams that they want to be. And, I look at the team out in training. They're really hungry to play in front of our fans again. And now we have to put the performance in.
Thank you.
Back to the Zoom, Michael Allen.
Yeah, Coach, thanks for making the time. Last in the New England game, we saw a situation there at the end where you put Ledesma on and pushed Santi up towards more forward attacking. Is that something you're working on in training now? And is that something we're going to see again maybe this Saturday?
We haven't worked on it in training, and we didn't work on it previously. Santi hasn't had a pre-season with us, and he hasn't played so many minutes. So we were conscious of that. And I think Gabe Siegel, it was his debut. Gabriel Pereira came out because he hasn't had a pre-season either. Mateus Pellegrini has put in crazy numbers on the GPS, which is brilliant because it shows his hunger and his desire to perform for the team. But you can't continue to do this for the whole season. So we're having to almost, shake the pack a little bit at the moment. And putting Santi up there was just a way of keeping him on the pitch, but just minimizing his running, really. And Tales was doing a really good job off the side. He was enjoying a little bit more freedom. So we continue to, and you see he comes into 2 chances even before and after the goal, one with the feet, one with the head. So it gives us an opportunity to overload the midfield. I think when you look at these type of games like Atlanta, you need the opportunity to overload the game because you want to carry the ball. And if we play Ledesma and Santi as a false nine with Keaton, James, or Alfredo behind, it gives us an opportunity to have then Tales and Gabriel or Mateus to attack the space. So we've got flexibility tactically. We haven't worked at it, but these guys are so intelligent and they feel the game so well that I have full confidence when we move guys that they'll do a job for the team.
Michael Andre.
Nick, thanks for taking the time. One of the things that was highlighted during this team's championship run, but then also as I talked to players early in the season, was the sense of togetherness, the chemistry between the team. And you just referenced a couple of guys that didn't have full preseasons with the team. You brought in some new players. You brought in Richie after the preseason or after the season had started. So I'm curious what you're doing now that the players aren't in a preseason, now that they're not in hotels, now that they're going home and living their own lives, to try to keep that unity, to keep that togetherness, and make sure that the new guys are getting acclimated to the systems.
Yeah, and it's a really, really good question because we're really aware of this, that given a preseason with the whole squad, we have an opportunity to really build the team and hit the ground running. And we didn't have that. And there's many reasons why. And it's not a problem. It's nobody's fault. There's a visa issue. There's contracts to negotiate. Ultimately, the want to get these guys in as quick as possible was there. And we just have to, we have to work in the way that the world gives us. And we're doing it consciously now. The guys are working incredibly hard at building chemistry. The guys are consciously, we're meeting, we're going through the tactical side of the game, we're building our team spirit, we're fixing the problems that we have, and we're not perfect. You can see in the performances where, the performances are patchy at times, and, we want to be better in the final third. We're trying to build that chemistry. It is a byproduct of the amount of time that we've had together, but no, that is no problem. We'll continue to work. We want to have more points. We want to have more wins, but we also are realistic and understand why maybe we're picking up points. And, I'm content with where we're at because of the work that we're doing inside of the training facility here, whether it be the coaching team, whether it be the leadership team on the pitch, or whether it be the whole squad. We are improving every day on the training pitch, and we will continue to work hard to make sure that we get a better August, September, and we get the run in that we've had, but with more positive results. And if we get that, we'll have improved on last year. And that's the main aim.
Right.
Hey, Coach, just wondering if you can spare a word on the transfer of Thiago Andrade and how that went down.
Yeah, I think ultimately, I've said before, that recruitment will be an ongoing process, and that is ins and outs. We will always make decisions for the team, and I will always make decisions for the good of this team, and for I want to win, and we're only going to win if our team is the best team on and off the field. And whether it's bringing in the next guy or a guy leaving, it's always going to be for the good of the team. And we're still looking. The window is still open. We have a huge desire to strengthen our team, and that is with recruitment, but also with working. I said in the last question, we'll continue to build the cohesion of this team and become the best team we can be. And I look around our locker room and I look in the eyes and I look at the conversations that are going on, and we have a real rapport between our guys, and that is the aim. There will be problems throughout the season, and we will fix them and make sure that the team we put on the pitch is a team that our fans can be proud of, and that work without the ball and that create chances. And I'll stick to that process and continue to work hard.
And the final one, Scott.
Hey, Coach, one little left field question here in this case. With the Apple TV deal, obviously your games are much more scheduled, Saturday night, 7:30, maybe 8:30, depending where you are, versus the Saturday afternoon, Sunday kind of thing. What does that change? And in some ways, I'd imagine, how has that benefited the schedule and the structure?
It benefits in the sense of you almost get a little bit of extra rest. Like when we're training today, whatever we do tomorrow, we almost have 2 days rest, really, because we train in the morning and we play in the evening. So you get that Saturday rest. That's a positive. The difference is it's a long day, having those games when you're away from home. We have our players up for breakfast, and I think every team will be feeling the same. You get a few 7:30 sometimes, and then you get the 1 p.m. and the 4 p.m. and you're getting back into home market earlier. And So I think most teams are adapting at that. But, it is what it is. The schedules, we've had so many different schedules in the sense of times we play and those things that, we just have to deal with what we've got. I've got an incredible performance team here, and their whole job is to make sure that we are in the best place to perform. And they do an incredible job, whether it be, times they feed the players, what they feed them, what they do in the day, whether they go for a team walk, whether they do a mobility session. To have a performance team that is making really good decisions and a team that is really buying into the direction that the staff are taking them, it makes the job easier.
Great. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.